within 30 days of having this in place, and we're just looking at the data for the last 30 days, you've seen that we've increased the revenue by almost $16,000 just by giving people the option to purchase additional products. Because this brand already was sending a lot of traffic and they're already getting a lot of orders. So what's just asking people if they want to add something else to their order, and you can see that the conversion rate from this was pretty good. You can see that since the lifetime of applying the strategy, we've made $107,000 in revenue just from using this this widget. Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the e-commerce growth map podcast with your host, Frank Kenny, head of growth and CEO here at Lionmediaad. And so in today's episode of the podcast, we're going to talk about how to increase your average order value from your customers, right, guys? So there's a thing here that I often see a lot of brands not really applying to their business. And it's something so simple that can add up to like 20 or even 30% increase in revenue. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. So think about this. Whenever you go to like a McDonald's or you go to like any fast food restaurant or just any store, right? You go there with the intention to buy something. So you have a product in your hand, and when you go to checkout, right? So let me back this up. Let's look at McDonald's for example. You go to McDonald's, you want to go buy a hamburger, for example, right? So when you go to purchase a hamburger, you're just thinking, I just want to get a hamburger, right? What's the first thing that they ask you? Would you like a drink with that hamburger? Would you like some fries with that hamburger? Would you like some sides with that hamburger, right? Or do you want to add this to your order? Think about that concept for a minute, right? Now, this is a business strategy, right? And obviously, like, people who use this knows exactly what they're doing, right? Because you already have the intention to buy something. What's a couple more dollars of adding this thing to go with your meal, right? If you buy a hamburger, obviously some fries also sounds good with that. A drink also sounds good with that. Even some snacks also sounds good with that. And that's a strategy that McDonald's uses and a host of different business uses just to increase the average order value of their customers. And the customer that was going to pay, probably $3 or $4 for a hamburger now pays up to $10 or even more from that initial order, right? Therefore, increasing the average order value of that one customer. Now, think about this in the e-commerce stance, right? Direct to consumer. A person that goes to your website and they purchase your product, depending on what that product is, you want to apply the same strategy. Like, hey, do you also want to add this to your cart, right? If you're a fashion brand and somebody buys a t-shirt, hey, do you want to add these trousers to your order? Do you want to add these socks? Do you want to add this hat? Do you want to add these shoes, right? Just by making that offer, giving them that options will increase your average order value. And I'm going to show you some examples of how this works and how much more revenue we make from my clients just by making this option available for customers. It's something that is so simple, and there's tools to help you do this within a click of button. And just by applying this can increase revenue from 20 or even up to 30% or more, depending on what category you're in for your direct-to-consumer brand, guys. And this is one of just like hanging line fruits. I think that's the word that they say, low-hanging fruits that you can apply right away to your business. Again, this was just increase your overall revenue, right? So let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump into the dashboard of a tool that we use to essentially help us with this process, right? And I'm going to walk you through a website that I think our brand that does this like very well, and essentially show you what that process looks like. And you can apply the exact same strategy to your DTC brand, right? You can use the exact same the strategy that we use from like the app that we use and to the exact same upsells and downsells that we use. Because guys, essentially this is essentially what it is. It's upsells and downsells, right? So without further ado, I'm gonna share my screen and then we're gonna look at this. So first things first, I wanna show you this data, right? And so this is for a client that we recently applied this strategy to, right? Because initially, they didn't have this in place, right? And so within 30 days of having this in place, and we're just looking at the data for the last 30 days, you've seen that we've increased the revenue by almost $16,000 just by giving people the option to purchase additional products. Because this brand already was sending a lot of traffic and they're already getting a lot of orders. So what's just asking people if they want to add something else to their order, and you can see that the conversion rate from this was pretty good, to the sense that we've added just in the last 30 days almost $16,000 to the overall revenue by giving customers option to purchase additional product, right? And you can see that since the lifetime of applying the strategy, we've made $107,000 in revenue just from using this widget, right? Now, this last 30 days, I think this is the highest revenue we've generated from using this, right? This is just the last 30. This is the highest revenue we've generated. Now, this is obviously a strategy that we've been using for about like 3 months now with them. And before that, don't get me wrong, they had something similar set in place, but it wasn't generating this amount of revenue, right? And guys, so essentially this is upsells and downsells. The tool that we use for that is Rebuy. There's other tools that you can also use for upsells and downsells, but the main tool that we use is Rebuy, right? Because I think it's very robust and I love the AI feature, and we use the AI features a lot. So the AI feature essentially is one of the tools that we use across like all the upsells and downsells. So just by adding one of the AI features, for example, let me show you what that looks like. So essentially what we have over here, we have essentially 4 different widgets that we can add from the Rebuy program, right? And I'll show you an example of 2 of those different widgets we can get to from showing an example from a website. And 2 of those widgets, I'll explain to you what that is, because we can't necessarily get to it without purchasing a product, but like I'll show you what that looks like and how we've applied this to essentially some of our customers' Shopify store. So the first widget is that when somebody adds a product to cart, right? They've added a product to cart, like, I'm thinking about purchasing this, right? And what you can do is offer them, like, hey, people that have added this product to cart or have purchased this product, here's some of the other options that they've also looked at, or here's some of the other products that they've also purchased, and just give them that option, right? For example, like I mentioned earlier before, if you're in a apparel brand, if you add a t-shirt to your cart, and what you can have on the side, again, I'll show you an example of this. Another option that you can show them is like, here are some pants to go with those, to go with that shirt. Here are some shoes that will go really well with that shirt, right? If they add jeans, here are some shoes or some hats or whatever that will go with that shirt. Just offer them that option, right? So that's a cart feature, right? And then the other thing that you can also have as well is like, when somebody has already added the product to cart and it's in the process of checking out, they're enter their credit card details and they've already checked out. Again, I'll show you an example of this. You're like, hey, people that have purchased this product have also purchased these. Just giving them another option. It's the same thing as if somebody is about to purchase a hamburger, if somebody purchases a hamburger and they've already added fries, like, hey, do you also want to drink with that? And that is the same logic behind this, guys. And you can see that, I think this is looking at data from the last 30 days. You can just see that just by offering these, and these are the different widgets that we have over here. So one of them is add to cart, one of them is checkout extension, and one of them is, okay, they already purchased the product, and then we just offer them something else in return, right? So you can see the data for that over here. So like with this first one over here, we can see that we've generated in the last 30 days just $10,000 from that. $10,000 just by offering them something in addition. And a lot of people do add that to cart. And another one over here is a $4,000 just generated by offering people just other products that they can buy. And another one over here is $3,000 just again by offering people other products that they want to buy, right? So you can kind of start to see how effective this is, right? If somebody was going to, the same person that was going to go to your website and purchase maybe something for $20, now they end up purchasing items worth of $40, just kind of doubling the average order value, right? Guys, this is so impactful and this is so powerful that I think it's just very important just for every DTC e-commerce brand just to apply this, right? Now, what I want to do is go into a brand that I think does this very, very well. This is a jewelry brand. So what I'm going to do is like, look at their best sellers, right? Just kind of walk you through their process of how they have to set up, in which I really like. So when you come over here, let's just look at the different type of jewelry that they have. Let's see. I want to get this 8mm Miami Cuban chain link. Boom. I'm going to go ahead and look at that and add that to my cart. Okay, cool. This all looks good. I'm going to add the 22-inch, 14K gold. So let me add that to cart. And boom. Guys, so here's the product that I just added to cart. Exactly what I mentioned is like, look, customers also bought these items. And it shows me all these other products that I can potentially also purchase if I like it or if they will complement this one. So I can go through this. I'm like, oh, interesting. Oh, you guys they have a Halo piece. Oh, they have this other Halo piece over here if you're a Halo fan. Oh, they have the 10mm Miami Cuban link. I think that will go really good with this 8mm Miami Cuban links, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just going to look at that. I like that. I want to do the white gold. And then I'm going to add that to cart. Right, so my cart went from $100 to $160, guys, and this is just how that works, and this is how consumers think, right? And then I'm like, okay, cool. Now I'm gonna go to checkout, right? I'm gonna check out, and then go to the checkout section. As soon as that loads, and then I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna act like I'm a customer, and I'm gonna go ahead and like proceed like I'm gonna add something to cart. I'm gonna enter my credit card information. But even before I do that, look at this. Complete the look. Customers also added these items to their cart, right? So they did essentially like two-step. Right when I added the product to cart, they gave me all the options. Now, right when I'm about to check out, so this is the checkout extension from the app or from that tool that I just showed you guys, and they're giving me even more options, right? Now, the thing with this, kind of what I mentioned with like the AI feature that the Rebuy program has. So what essentially they do, they look at the historical data from customers who have purchased similar products, right? So if I purchase an 8mm Cuban link, right, other customers also purchase along with that a 10mm Cuban links. And that's why they're offering me that as an option, right? That if customers have purchased these sets together, other customers may also have a high likelihood of purchasing those sets together. And so that's how the AI feature works. And it's very, very impactful because it's data-driven. It's based upon what other people have already done. So the likelihood that other people are going to do the same thing is also very likely, right? And so that's how this whole process and that's how this whole thing works. So I believe this brand is using like the same exact tool. Okay, cool. So you can see, okay, I can add these other options here as well. So for example, so I have this 8mm Cuban link. Say for example, I want this Pokeball chain. I can also add that. And my cart went from $160 to $218, $224, with shipping and taxes included, right? Cool. Now I can go ahead and purchase this, right? I can go ahead and purchase this because originally I was just going to spend $100, but now it ends up that I'm going to be spending $224.39, guys. So I hope you guys can kind of see how powerful and how impactful this is. And then there's also like another process after the customers have already purchased, like they've checked out and they've entered their credit card details. There is another option that they can get to purchase even more products, guys. And then with this one, you obviously want to give a higher discount with this. So you can be like, hey, a one-time offer. We're going to give you these items for like 50% off or for 40% off. And customers are going to see that. We're like, oh, one-time offer, 40% off. That's a really like good deal, right? And so a lot of times when we do that, we get a lot of conversions from that. Guys, this is like very powerful. And then this is very impactful by just increasing to just like your overall revenue without really having to like spend more money on ads or send out more emails, anything complicated, just by adding a widget and then offering customers product that they may want to purchase, and then some of them do purchase. Like a good percentage of those customers do purchase the product, right? And again, I'm gonna go back here. The tool that we use to have these upsells and downsells is called Rebuy. There's different ways in which you can customize this, right? You can get like very granular with this, right? So like you can offer, for example, again, we're gonna go back to the example of like a clothing brand. If somebody purchased like a belt or something, you can offer them, you can create like some form of like a bundle. So like, hey, if somebody adds this product to cart, show them the specific bundle over here, right? Or if somebody purchases this product, let's also show them this specific bundle. Like you can get very granular in terms of how you can customize this, right? And you can make a lot of revenue from this without having to spend more on advertising, guys. And so with this, what happens is that, because again, the cost per acquisition is always going to a large extent, is always going to be going up, year over year with all these different channels, if you're advertising on Meta or if you're advertising on Google. And so one of the best things that you can do to kind of counter that is just making sure that your AOV is increasing as well, right? So if your AOV is increasing, you can still make first profit. You can still make a first order profitability from that first acquisition just by increasing your average order value, right? And therefore, in the same sense, increasing your ROAS as well, because ROAS is really a function of AOV, right? And so, guys, I hope this video is like helpful in terms of like making sure that you include upsells and downsells in your overall e-commerce journey, in your overall e-commerce business, guys. If you have any question in reference to what we talked about here today, if you're watching this on YouTube, drop them down in the comments. And if you're watching this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other streaming platform, you can visit us at Lionmediaad.com. Again, that's Lionmediaad.com. Fill out a contact form if you want to partner with us to kind of help you set this up. Again, Lionmediaad.com. Fill out a contact us form, and then one of our team is going to get to you and then set up an appointment with you to kind of discuss further, guys. Again, thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, just drop them down in the comment section below. We'll see you guys in the next episode of the podcast. Signing out.